Hello everybody, this is your Uncle Gurga, come today with a review of X-Men number 2, aka X2 United. If I recall correctly, that's the American title of it. So, here's my fine little plot synopsis of this movie. When a new vicious enemy emerges, Professor Xavier and his squad of mutants must work together with their enemy Magneto to stand a chance. X-Men 2, X-Men United, X2, and all the other titles these movies have. Anyways, let's talk about this movie. X-Men 2 is one of the movies people talk about when they're talking not only about their favorite X-Men movie, but about their favorite comic book movies in general. And I think it's easy to see why. This is a very great movie in so many aspects. Let's just say this movie improves on almost every single level when it comes to the original. The scale gets bigger. You can feel that the world that the X-Men are in, it feels bigger and it feels just more overall. And of course we have new mutants being introduced with Nightcrawler, or Kurt Wagner, or Nightcrawler as he was called at the Munich circus. Um, and the introduction scene of him in the beginning, where he attacks the White House, is amazing. It is one of the coolest opening scenes probably in any movie I've seen, actually. I mean, not just comic book movies, but most movies in general, I would say. It's amazing. It's definitely one of the top 20 opening scenes I've seen in my life, actually. It's just so exciting and fresh, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And who is that amazing guy who's just teleporting through fucking walls? And overall, the character of Nightcrawler is very nice. But there's so many things about this movie that just gets it right. I mean, yes, X-Men 2 does something that I really wanted with the first movie, and it is more action, more mutants kicking ass, literally. And I like that, but it's also turning up the volume of many other aspects. I think that the dramatic tension and the emotional conflict gets even better in handled in this movie, because we have a villain in Stryker, which is a very evil guy who literally wants to take control over all mutants slash kill all mutants, and that is why the X-Men have to work together with Magneto and Mystique. But he also has a reason for it. He had a mutant of a son that took control over his wife, and their family in general, and destroyed what their family was. So I can still see where Stryker's coming from. He really just wants a really harsh revenge, so to say. And that also makes the emotional conflict more compelling, because in the first movie, I felt more like we felt pity and sorry for the X-Men or the mutants. But in this movie, we kind of understand that for the for regular humans that have to handle with mutants in the way of parents who have mutants for a child. For example, Bobby slash Iceman's character, they are in one scene they are at his house with his parents, and his parents simply haven't really come over the whole mutant thing and haven't really come to realize that this is how it is. They really don't know what to do about it or what to feel about it, so to say. And I think this movie brings that up really, that you really must understand the humans around it also. I mean, of course they're afraid. They have a son who can fucking shoot out ice from his hands. Speaking of Bob and Iceman, the relationship between Rogue and Iceman in this movie is interesting, and I really buy it. I think it's a very cute and very just a relationship that it actually makes sense, and there's something about it that just feels so right. Uh, because I don't know, I feel they have the chemistry, and overall it's a very neat relationship they have. It's not all about gushing out and standing in the corner kissing or making out, or it's not going to some sex scene or something. It's just a innocent teen love relationship, which I think they handle very well. However, I am not so sure about the relationship thing, or the kind of battle between Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. I just don't feel that it's necessary. It's not that I don't think that Hugh Jackman and Famke Jensen, I believe is her name, have no chemistry. It's just that I don't see why it is necessary to have in this movie. Rogue's and Iceman's relationship, I can get that, but I just don't really see why. it is there. Actually, I don't know. I know some people probably get pissed at me, but I just feel it's unnecessary. It's just there to shake up some rivalry between Wolverine and Cyclops, which I never really gotten, because Cyclops is just thrown away in these movies kind of overall, which is sad because he's kind of a cool character. I also think that X-Men 2 has a little long start. It really takes some time before things starts to happen, so to say. Yes, we have the amazing intro scene with Nightcrawler, as I said, but after that it will take you probably 30 to 40 minutes before the movie actually starts. And you're like, okay, now we're going, and then it's just like full throttle, 200 miles per hour, straight forward, which is great. Another thing that is awesome about this is the action and sequences, particularly when Wolverine gets all out and just mashes shit up. It's amazing. I mean, we have one scene where he just literally takes his claws and just shoot him right into the chest of a soldier, and it's just glorious. I mean, it's glorious. It's amazing to see. But overall, the action sequences are very cool. I Yeah, I mean, this is how action in comic book movies should be made. It's not as big and bloated as the Avengers movie or Winters or Civil War, not Winter Soldier, were, if we could gonna take previous examples, but it's more personal and cool, action from, in my opinion, that we get. And sometimes this, like I said, sometimes the smaller action scenes feels more fresh and creative than having a big bloated, or actually most of the time they do, actually, in my opinion. And one thing is that the actors in the X-Men franchise overall is just so well fitted. I totally buy Ian McKellen as Magneto. I totally buy James Stewart as Professor X. I totally buy Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and vice versa. I think they're amazing cast choices, and they're doing great job with the roles. And it's just amazing to see a franchise that had that, because even some of the stronger franchise always have some where you're like, I don't know about that, but personally, I think everyone does a really good job in the roles. I honestly do. Now, of course, I don't know a whole lot about the source material of X-Men. Actually, I don't know jack shit, to be honest, because I haven't read the comics or watched the cartoons and such. But yeah, I just feel that they really do what they're meant to do. Another thing I like about this movie is Wolverine's past and origin story that we kind of get told, but we get few sequences and flashback and scenarios, uh, but not that much. And I think they should just have not made X-Men Origins Wolverine, not just because it turned out to be a crappy ass movie, but also because it's just so cool to have his story kind of being told, but at the same time not. I mean, why just don't leave it a little mystery? Like, yes, we know Stryker was involved in his creation. Now we know kind of how he got created, but why didn't they leave it at that? I think it would have been a better way for the X-Men universe and Wolverine as a character to not tell it in a separate asshole movie that was X-Men Origins Wolverine, because that sucked really, really bad, which is also why I'm not reviewing it. So, I'm gonna give you my final words on X-Men 2, or X2 X-Men United. Uh, this is a sequel that improves on many levels. Greater scale, greater emotional conflict, greater action, and overall, a greater piece of film. I'm gonna score X-Men 2 an 8 out of 10. It is not maybe a masterpiece, I wouldn't say, but there's so much to enjoy with this movie, and it's a movie that just, yes, like I said, it's a little long and tedious at the start, but when it gets rolling, it's just like a full throttle ride, and you're just sitting there and enjoying it and just having a good time. Uh, it is serious, it is a little dark for being a comic book movie at times, but I like it. I really do. So, yeah, that's my opinion on X-Men 2, guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, as always, and well, leave a mean comment if you feel for that, because hey, I can take hate, and leave a nice comment if you feel for that. This has been your Uncle Gurga, and thank you for watching.